Hi, welcome back to another video. I'm Natalie, a children's book illustrator from Canada, currently living in Tokyo. This video is going to be an art-filled one, starting with a detailed painting of a fruit stall I came across in the Sedagai Ward in Tokyo. When I saw it, I knew it would immediately make for an interesting painting. I'm often drawn to corner units, and the open structure of this shop in particular really showcased a wide variety of their fruits, adding lots of visual interest to the composition. I started out by painting the green canopy with watercolors. The building in real life was very old and all the surfaces had stained with signs of age, so I thought that watercolors with its more uneven, granulating textures would convey this well. This particularly worked for the stained concrete with shades of ochre, beige, and browns, but I actually came to realize the walls along with the green watercolors felt to be over-textured. It's a purely personal aesthetic, but I wanted to break up the textures in the piece so that there is some visual breathing space. By limiting only certain areas to have more textures, you can establish visual hierarchies. So as a result, I repainted the canopy with gouache. Since I was using traditional gouache that is still water soluble, I think it meshed better with watercolors and just a slight hint of the original texture was preserved. Gouache can be used more thickly and opaquely, but if you water it down, it can also be used like a glaze. You can see the transformation of the beige stripes with gray cool undertones really brighten up with the introduction of a yellow glaze. It's helpful to think of the piece in terms of color temperatures, like the environment is in a sunny day with warm tones and not a gray cloudy day with cool tones. This applies even to shadow areas. Instead of using a cool gray, I'm using kind of like a muddy brown. There are plastic sheets hanging from the shop openings, probably used to keep in some of the air conditioning or to be pulled down in case of rain. It was a challenge how to convey that sense of transparency and plasticky reflection. I opted for organically shaped reflections that would be lighter than the background. I've been pushing out a lot of new paintings during the past 3 months or so. One question I got was how I managed through burnout. If time and work permits, I think I would take a break from making art altogether just to refresh my mind and body. But that scenario is probably hard to come by, so it's helpful to identify the specific activity that is causing the burnout. For example, if painting with watercolors is burning me out, perhaps I can switch to fully digital and work on my comics in a more casual doodle style. Or maybe I focus on admin tasks for the business side of things, or I can work on editing a new video, even switching to doing household chores. I love to seek out other art experiences, especially in crafts. A few videos back, I did a paint your own pottery session, and in the last video, I designed some t-shirts. Sometimes I feel burnt out by staying in the house all day, and summer in Japan is quite difficult to endure, so it's hard to go out for an adventure. I really didn't expect summer to be that hard before moving to Japan, and now I really appreciate summers in Canada. I like to go outside a little bit each day, maybe 20 minutes for some movement, so Dorky and I like to go out for walks after dinner when the air is cooler. I've been enjoying my other hobbies too, like hunting for old toys, and I'm recently reading Cardcaptor's manga in Japanese.
I set out on a road that I built with my own two hands. I met friends on the way, people chosen to make a stand. I felt strong in the sun as I walked onto pastures green. Saw forgiveness together as spaces in between. And I'll be with you through the night. And I'll turn every wrong to right. Baby, we're children of summer, we're meant to be free. Honey, we're not like the others, no reason to be. And my ventures, they brought me to places I've never been. But you can walk through this world without a few punches upon your chin. I think I lost you somewhere between 20 and 23. But I still hold you dear despite the heartbreak you caused in me. 'Cause you were with me through my nights. And you filled the darkness with shining lights, yeah. Baby, we're children of summer, we're meant to be free. Honey, we're not like the others, no reason to be. Late is far in our lungs, so it's too hard to breathe. Lover, I live for the day you and I turn to we. I still think of you now, though my memories turning bleak. I'm still walking this road, though my knees they are ever so weak. I never thanked you for putting your faith on a bomb like me, yeah. And wherever you are, I think it's here you were meant to be. Baby, we're children of summer, we're meant to be free. Honey, we're not like the others, no reason to be.
Okay, on to the next painting. This is a stamp and printing shop I came across in a shopping arcade in Osaka. In Japan, using a stamp called hanko is pretty common and definitely something you need if you move here. Aside from your signature, you'll need a stamp, usually engraved with your surname for official agreements like opening a bank account or signing a lease. Sometimes you'll need a stamp to sign for deliveries as well, but those can be less official, so mine has a cute character on it. The shop also specializes in nengajo, New Year's greeting postcards. There's a tradition in Japan to mail relatives and friends these postcards, and there is a serial number included on each postcard, which is linked to a lucky draw given out by Japan Post. I haven't won anything yet, but maybe this coming year. Oftentimes, the postcard design features the zodiac animal of the year. Next year will be the year of the snake. In contrast to the groceries illustration, for this painting in particular, I chose to do the walls completely with watercolors. Since the eyes will be drawn to the brick pattern, I wanted that element to read a bit softer, and it's easier to create small shifts in color in washes or layers of light colors rather than in gouache. In this scenario, I felt that gouache bricks would read too boldly and make the piece feel very top-heavy. Business card etiquette is important too. with guidelines for handing it by two hands and holding it above, below, or at the other person's level. I wanted to have a small nod to that by having the cat and pig exchange cards. I did use gouache for the red signage as it complemented the graphic style of signage, and I incorporated it in the displays just to spread out the color and make it more harmonious with the composition. Sometimes I feel a little bit repetitive explaining the technical side of painting, so I thought I would mix it up to talk about artist lifestyle, some cultural tidbits of the things I'm drawing, and sharing some inspirational adventures in Japan too. Hope that's a good mix of topics, and as always, I appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. Bye!